sometimes I forget like what got us to this point. And I think the biggest thing for me is opportunities when they present themselves. You don't have to take all of them. Like there's been lots of things that I've said no to, but those opportunities that do spark a bit of interest, you just need to have a crack. I remember I went through a heaps bad breakup. That was the catalyst for me. I was like, I need to make a change here. I'm going to get into the fitness space. Like I just quit my job. I had like no fucking money. I had like $100. And then I was like, I'm just going to study full time and just get that done. And then it was like a little opportunity presented itself at the gym I was at. I was like, well, I'm just going to take that. The next thing presents itself.
It just unfolds.
The online coaching world started to boom. And I was like, I think I could offer something here. And it's like, well, that seems pretty in line with where I'm at the moment. I'm going to step on that and take action on that. And it's just like these little things along the journey. Even the stuff I look at with the journal, like the amount of groundwork, like it's been like 4 years that we've been doing the journal for now.
100%, man.
And it's like now that we're starting to get these like referrals and new clients coming on board and like changing people's lives. And it does frustrate me when people are like, you just get to go to work every day and just do what you love. I'm like, fucking oath. I've done it for the last fucking 6 years.
So true.
But yeah, I'm at this point now because take action, man. Take action on the things that seem like the right thing to do. Episode 16. I feel like we've done like 1 million of these.
Yeah, it feels weird they're only up to 16. Listen, 16 times of you just chatting.
Just chatting shit. Because we won the podcast game. I think it was episode 10.
Yeah, well, we're not really playing for anything in particular now. It's just kind of bragging rights, really, isn't it? We're just showing up to make ourselves look busy.
We don't fucking do anything else.
Do anything. We look heaps busy, so at least it's good.
How's things? How are you?
Good, mate. How do I look?
You look good.
You like it?
I'm liking channeling this like sort of UK fuckboy vibe.
It's more Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, like a Wish version of Peaky Blinders. I think you said that actually.
I actually did say that, yeah. But I'll take it.
Nah, I commend you. Yours looks fucking good. Mine, all over the place. Just chuck a hat on. Have to.
What are you going to do with it? We were talking about shaving the head. And Cooney, we were talking about this too. Cooney, Briggs, we were all talking about going little
I'm buzzing.
Buzz cut. Are you buzzing?
Yeah, so I'm actually waiting for...
I reckon keep the mohawk kind of style.
No, so I'm going to buzz the top, but it'll come into a little point mohawk.
So you're keeping the back long?
No, like the back will still be short. The top will be short. Like I'm thinking between like a 3 to 5, like pretty short. But at the back, come into that nice little point.
What, and then you're going to fade the sides so you can see the point?
Yeah. But again, the point
so you'd
be probably like a 4 or 5.
So you're buzzing the whole thing, but you're keeping that longer so you can kind of still see...
Like a reverse avatar. I was like, think about it.
Okay. Yeah, I reckon I could get around that.
Yeah, so my thought process behind it is I'm actually, and quite rude, I think, Jacob Costa has taken time off work for his wedding.
Dog.
As though like...
He did hook me up beforehand though, so...
Yeah, I know. But, so, yeah, nothing on me, like fucking up my timing and
just prioritising getting a buzz cut.
So, massive shout out to Jacob, getting married this week.
Huge, man.
It is huge.
Oh, he's a legend, eh?
And this is dropping... This will drop Monday, so this is all time relevant. So, Easter's coming up as of tomorrow, I think, Sunday.
Yeah. Yep, tomorrow, Easter long weekend. Tomorrow, carry the 2, make the Monday. Yep, that's about Easter.
I think Easter's when Jesus is.
Or... yeah. Probably not. Oh, that's a ballpark that I do not play ball in.
No.
What?
No, that's Christmas, isn't it? Something happens at Easter time with Jesus.
I'm pretty sure.
I apologize.
I'm pretty sure he died and was resurrected on the cross.
That's yes. Okay. For anyone that's religious that's listening to this, I apologize.
I
actually grew up like Catholic,
and we played the trivia game, and you got right about the Bible.
Yeah.
So,
but I feel like
you're a phony.
Common knowledge. Like the most read book in the world is the Bible.
But you don't know the basics of religion of Easter, which I'm hoping I got that right actually. But I think no, it is. It is. I did scripture.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right. You confident?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep. Confident on my haircut, mate.
All right. What are we doing on this episode?
What's happening? Oi, I want to ask you something.
Big question.
Yeah, I reckon we dive in because we've had a bit of small talk. We got past the kisses and the hugs and things like that. I reckon.
And Cooney said, like, if you're gonna talk about something, dive in or don't.
Yeah,
He gave us that.
And
podcast.
when I walked in, he actually tried to kiss me on the mouth too. And I was either like, do I go into it or do I just like?
It was my reception.
You're on the toilet doing a stinker, mate. Which okay, before we dive into this,
Listen to this shit. Here we go.
we need to like get on the same page here. We need to get clarity because this is in all parts of life, right?
All right, here we go.
When you go to the toilet and you sink a big turd, afterwards you close the door or leave it open.
Fan on, door closed.
No, Jesus Christ.
Fan taken
There's just, that is
into the roof.
That is insanity. You can't keep the door closed, man.
Can I elaborate on one thing?
Go, please. I'm all ears.
If I'm in a situation like this morning, yeah, I'll be open and honest right now. I did use the bathroom before this podcast.
Oh, no, you did.
That you guys are listening to right now, I did go to the bathroom.
Because I walked into the bombshell.
If I'm in a situation where I've got two people in my life that I value very much, yourself, Andrew, that are in the same vicinity, and we're about to shoot a podcast in the next room, the last thing, because I respect you both so much, is leaving that door open and then us trying to operate this podcast setup with a waft coming through. That's not cool.
You know what I think it is? Pure selfishness. Pure selfishness.
The other way around.
You walk in, you sit and you go, that stinks. Whack the door closed. What happens to the next person that walks in, i.e. me? Brother, I'm walking into 10 out of 10 intensity. You want to talk about being selfless, being like, I'm looking out for you boys. That fucking stunk.
Okay, would you rather that, or would you rather be sitting here shooting this podcast right now with a potential waft?
Cop the hit. You leave the door open, you get a little whiff there, but then the air's gone. It's gone, man. You let it sit and you bask, and it just gets worse and worse.
You got to sit in it a little bit.
You have to. You haven't got a choice when you just trap it all in the room, mate. I am team doors open for that. No leaving doors closed. It's like farting under the covers. Oh,
well, yeah, that's fucked up, man. Don't want to open up that can of worms. I'll tell you that.
But see, I'm the opposite with that. You fart under the covers, you leave it. Don't lift the covers. Don't do it. Leave it. It'll sort itself out on its own.
Well, regarding the number 2 situation before,
don't poo.
Somewhat that is probably a good idea. But coffee, you got to go. Andrew was very opinionated on it, and he was passionate. When you went into the bathroom, it was me and him out there.
I'm team.
He was going to hit me. I thought he was going to bash me out here.
So this is the difference, right? Because I'm team doors open, and he tried to give me a kiss when I walked in. And your team doors closed. He's trying to fight the fuck out of you. So if that's not incentive with it, I don't know what is.
All right, no,
let's get away. That's actually such shit chat. Let's get away from the poo-poos. All right. We were talking about this a little bit yesterday. I want to dive into it a little bit more because we didn't really get to elaborate on it much. A big question that everyone seems to be talking about a lot. I think all of us try to find it in some way or not. Finding your purpose in life.
This was a good chat, eh?
It was a good chat. We started getting into it a little bit, but then we had to, work and stuff, like all that work that we do. Finding your purpose in life. I want to know what your opinion is on it, what your thoughts are about it. You know how people talk about like always looking for their purpose in life, finding your purpose.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts? I don't know.
Well, I actually loved the conversation that we had. So we went on a nice walk through Greenpoint, and we were talking about like our work now, and we're people say lucky, you're lucky to be doing what you're doing, sort of thing, and things are feeling really good for us at the moment, with a few different work areas that we got going on. And I don't know, the lucky comment, it's not that like it bothers me, but it just doesn't sit 100% right with me, because I don't think it is luck. That's like the main reason. I think what most people stress about is trying to, like they feel like they need to find their purpose like really early on. And look, we've probably found that for sure. Like for me, it's always been around serving others, and we now have like a tangible space where we can do that. So I know you're the same, and every day we get to rock up to that environment, which is sick. It is mad. But we've also put the last 5-6 years into play to get to that point. And same with me with the journal and the work that we're doing there. My thoughts on it, I think I knew that this is from my example, I always knew that I loved the fitness space because I'd trained for so many years and I had, I guess, I thoroughly enjoyed it and was a part of my life. When I moved into working in that field, I don't think it was like my massive passion straight away. But what brought it to that point was putting in, consistent years of fucking work and getting to the point of like serving so many people and seeing you benefit so many people in that way. Then it came into a passion for me where I was like, I'm seeing the results of all the hard work that I'm putting in for something that I do enjoy. So I think what I'm getting at is that people will try to like latch on to finding their passion and caring so much about that, when I think the best solution is like, you got to have a crack at a few different things. Prior to the fitness space, I worked there was probably like fucking 8 different jobs that I worked, Real estate was the main one, which was never really the thing for me. And the fitness space, I guess, was that opportunity for me to like have a proper crack at it. And through having a crack, my passion sort of built. So yeah, I don't know. I guess there probably are some people that are lucky to find it early on, but yeah, I don't think it's luck at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's it can become a very complex thing. Like even with luck, when I think about luck, I think luck ties heavily into opportunity and opportunity as to whether you take opportunities or not. Like people who expose themselves to the ability to have more opportunities or take opportunities when they arise end up being more lucky people. Like that's what people end up referring to them as, oh, they got so lucky because they got that opportunity, or this popped up and they got lucky. I think as well to note, it's hard as well because luck and privilege can be connected but also disconnected in a way. Like privilege is very much a different thing because people have different upbringings, and I do believe like privilege does make a difference with regards to that. People can be, you're at a 100-meter race and people are starting back at the 150, and some people are starting at the 100, some people are starting at the 70. So that is a bit of a blurry space too. But for the most part, what we're talking about with luck, when people refer to, oh, you're so lucky that you found your purpose, it's hard, man, because like behind that, us finding our purpose is hours and hours of work. And a lot of the times, I was touching on this yesterday, a lot of the times and a lot of those days, like you don't feel driven, like you don't feel enthusiastic or even probably inspired by your work. Like there are days that I wake up that I don't feel like programming, or there are days where training people is a little bit harder than the others. Like I'm human. I'm more than happy to admit that. Overall, I enjoy it more than I don't, but there are days that are hard. But I think what happens with a lot of people, especially when they're looking for this purpose, that when people talk about it, there's this idea that when you find your purpose, this whole like, oh, when you wake up every single day, like you feel you're excited, you feel fulfilled, like you're passionate, you're ready to go. But I'm like, I feel like that often, but not always. But then if I went off the fact that I don't always feel like it, and then I go, oh, well, it's not my passion, then I'd be pushing into something else that, when in reality, I do really enjoy doing this and I love it. So I think people get really tied to this idea. It's almost like all or nothing. Like I have to 100% love it all the time, everything I do, because then as soon as they might be doing something that they actually enjoy, but a day or two like pops up where they don't feel like it, or the work feels like a bit monotonous, and they go, oh, then they start questioning and they go, oh, maybe this isn't my purpose. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it is. That's fine. But I think a lot of the times people aren't willing to stick out those like tough days, because there are a lot of days where I do programming, I'm like, fuck, I just want this like done. But then I reap the rewards of it because I see the program unfolding, whether it's for our class or whether it's for an individual, and they reap the rewards and I'm like, fuck yeah, this is the shit. Like this is why I love what I do. Yeah. But writing it, like it wasn't fantastic. Like I wasn't sitting there being like, this is the best thing ever. Like sometimes it's tough. So
I think people are looking for a way to make things easier. And I think labeling something as like, it's my passion or it's my purpose, I think people have this idea that makes it easier for people that do have their passion or their purpose.
100%.
But it doesn't.
No, 100%. That's what, I feel like people are too closely tied to this vision or this idea of it. It always feels good. But like you're human, right? Like you're human. Like some days you wake up, there might not be anything specifically wrong, but you're just off, or you feel normal tasks feel harder than what they do. Like that's normal. So like when I look at the overall picture, when people go like, oh, do you enjoy your job, or do you enjoy doing it? I absolutely love it. Like it's fantastic and I love it. But I'm not talking about every single day. There are some days that I don't. There are some days that I prefer to be at home or prefer to be doing something else, and that's fine. And I'm happy to admit that to myself, because when you look at the overall ratio, more days outweigh those days.
Totally.
So overall, yeah, like I feel like it's my purpose right now, and that's fantastic. But also don't get caught up on those tough days.
Yeah.
So
makes sense, man. The privilege thing is an interesting one. It's something I fell victim to for probably when I was like 18 through to like 20, 21 maybe. It was always that like, you know, I definitely grew up in a fucking awesome household, and like it was very family orientated, especially with our bigger family group, like relatives and stuff like that. But like money wasn't something that we always had. And so being around people like previous partners as well that were like really well off, I remember catching myself heaps and being, I don't know if jealous is the word, but like almost envious that like, you know, you're getting that $30,000 car, like, and getting frustrated that these people didn't really realize as to like how much further in life this is putting them. But one thing I've learned is that you play life and you play this game with the cards that you're dealt.
100%.
And trying to control the financial position that you're in, me stressing about that and you being better off or more well off, like that brings me no peace at all. It gives me the opposite, because I'm frustrated. I get the shits. I don't have that. I don't have that. I don't have that. Well, look at what I do have, you know. And the privilege thing's a really funny one, man. And I see a lot of people do that where they're comparing themselves to others, and then that's their scapegoat. Well, you've started life this way and you've been handed all these things. Look how fucking easy it is for you. And I've got to do all this hard work. Fuck that. That's way too difficult, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I see now that as like that's the opportunity. You know, that's the opportunity to change my circumstances and take action on what I can to ultimately get to those things that I've always wanted.
For sure. I've definitely changed my mindset over it, because I remember coming through the gym and, you know, being exposed to different things yourself, but then seeing other people being exposed. And I used to have this saying or quote that I'd say to myself and others, like, you choose your hard, you know, like regardless of where you start, like you choose, like it's hard to be unfit. It's hard to be healthy. It's hard to make money, but it's hard to be poor and things like that. But I used to really love that saying and that quote, but then I drifted from it, because when you do look at privilege, like I do really respect it for what it is too, that I understand that given your circumstances, like at the end of the day, that's your life and the hand you've been dealt. And then you need to figure out the best possible way you can move forward with that. But I'm also very respecting in the fact that when I look at how I've been brought up and the things that I've had access to, like there are some children that never get that. There are some children that grow up with no proper housing, no support system of a family, no nothing. I'm like, in terms of privilege, like I'm more privileged than them. I'm totally happy to admit that, but I respect that too, because even if they start growing up and they choose to take action, if they get the opportunity to, they're so far back that like I respect how much harder it is for them. So like it's easy. It feels easy for me to just sit here and be like, yeah, but like it's your life. You can and choose what you want to do. But now I'm like I get it. Like it's unfair. You have to work twice, nearly 3 times as hard as other people who have had that start before you. Like, yeah, that's really tough. Like that affects your life massively. And I respect that heaps now, because I don't think it's very easy if you're in the driver's seat sitting there, because we can even look at people above us in a sense and being like, oh yeah, but you've been given that. So we go, yeah, motivation, we got to work harder. But the difference between those people and when you look at from where we are and the upbringing we've had to then some individuals who have never had anything close to that, like basic needs met, privilege is a massive thing. So with that, in that particular field, I feel lucky. That's a different kind of luck. That's different from opportunity in a way, because the opportunities that we've been given, I think, tie more into privilege for that specific thing. Whereas like opportunities that we've been given because of our work ethic, that's different. That's not like we've just
So true.
we've just been lucky. That's we've created opportunity. Whereas like other things that we've been exposed to in our support system, that's because of privilege for me. That's my opinion. That's not right or wrong, but like that's what I mean. It can be complex because it's tough like that, you know?
It's a good point. That's a really good way to word it, actually. And I think I don't know if comparing is the right word, but getting the perspective from people that have had, you know, a fucking tougher upbringing than what you have, or been brought into this world in circumstances that they have no control over. You know, we have no control essentially those first probably 12 years, you know, like before we can actually probably start making decisions for ourselves that could remove yourself from situations like that. But this idea of like comparing yourself to people that have more, you know, they've got the lavish things and this and that. It's like, where does that get you? Like there's actually, unless you're using it as motivation to then take action in your day to help yourself work to points like that, if those things are important to you, like there's no fucking benefit to that at all. And I don't mind looking at people that I see as really successful and using that as like inspiration and motivation. But like comparing yourself to people just based off the circumstances they've been brought into this world with, that's going to get you nowhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, it's very individualized. Like if someone come up to me, an individual come up to me around my same age or younger, and they were in and out of housing, they had no support system, parents weren't around, no family or anything like that, and they come to me and they're talking specifically about my family and my upbringing. They're like, you're lucky. For me, I'd be like, yeah, you're right, I am.
Yeah.
But if someone come up to me and was like, oh, you've got this like, you know, big gym and you're doing like a job that you love and like you're making X amount of money, like you're so lucky. I'm like, yeah, but not necessarily. Like I didn't just get given this either. Like I worked my ass off for it. So there's a difference with that. Is like, again, yes, you can have a look at that and be privileged of like your upbringing. You had the opportunity where a lot of people don't, but it's also a matter of like capitalizing on opportunities too. Like a lot of people do get handed opportunities and they don't take them. So from that standpoint, I'm not as much of copying that, of being like, yeah, you're right. Like I'm so lucky, I'm blessed. Cause I'm like, no, we had to work like really, really hard. We put everything in it. We took out every single dollar that we had made, and we'd made that money from working hard previously to that. Like we put everything in. We're at the gym 13, 14 hour days sometimes. Like that isn't really specifically luck. Like that's ticker. That's if we've been given opportunities, but we've taken them head on and we've like ran with them and put in massive amounts of effort. So that, yeah, I'm a bit different with that in terms of, I think there's different ways of approaching that. That first one, 100%, I feel incredibly lucky with, because I didn't choose my family, you know, like you get brought into this world. I'm very lucky in that regard. Whereas other people don't have access to that. Completely understand that, completely respect it. But then like you said, when you start diving into what you want to do and when you start playing the hand you've been dealt and then what you do with that, that's when I think the luck conversation starts to change a little bit.
Yeah. It's so funny. You ever like look back? I know when I started in the fitness space, I'm like, how the fuck did I go? Not that I certainly haven't achieved everything that I wanted. Like there's so much more, but like from that point to where we are now and like what we're doing, I'm like, sometimes I forget like what got us to this point. And I think the biggest thing for me is opportunities when they present themselves. You don't have to take all of them. Like there's been lots of things that I've said no to, but those opportunities that do spark a bit of interest, you just need to have a crack. Like I remember when I went through a heaps bad breakup. That was the catalyst for me. I was like, I need to make a change here. I'm going to get into the fitness space. Like I just quit my job. I had like no fucking money. I had like $100 and then I just took out, not a loan, but they could do like payment plans for it. I was like, I'm just going to study full time and just get that done. And then it was like a little opportunity presented itself at the gym I was at. I was like, well, I'm just going to take that. And then it's just like the next thing presents itself.
It just unfolds.
The online coaching world started to boom and I was like, I think I could offer something here. And it's like, well, that seems pretty in line with where I'm at the moment. I'm going to step on that and take action on that. And it's just like these little things along the journey. And look, I probably don't reflect on it enough. Like I put a post up about it. I remember putting that up and it was just like dot points of like from that first moment of like starting to like where we are now. And like even the stuff I look at with the journal, like the amount of fucking groundwork, like it's been like 4 years that we've been doing the journal for now.
100%.
And it's like now that we're starting to get these like referrals and new clients coming on board and like changing people's lives. And it's like the idea of luck, like you said, it does frustrate me when people are like, you just get to go to work every day and just do what you love. I'm like, fucking oath. I've done it for the last fucking 6 years.
So true.
And I've put up with some shit as well that I didn't want to have to fucking put up with. But yeah, I'm at this point now because take action, man. Take action on the things that seem like the right thing to do.
100%. And like, look, this is going to sound terrible in the sense, but it's relating back into that as well. But even that, like, I remember when I come out of uni and I sat down with Willow, the head coach of CCSC now. It used to be One More Rep. And I really wanted a job, and I was like, oh, perfect. I'll go and chat to him. I did placement with him, and I was just like, sweet. Hopefully I'll be able to get a job. And I sat down with him at a cafe, and I was like, I really want to work for you. Like, I'd love to get into PT. Can I do it? He's like, yeah, sweet, man. Like, you can start your own PT business and run it out of my gym. That's fine. And I walked away from that, and I was like, fuck. Like, what? I don't know how to start a business, or like, I don't even know where to start. And I remember going home every day because I was laboring at the time every day, and I'd had the business name and like to register it and like get an ABN, and I had it up for weeks, probably like a month, and I just couldn't click the button because I was too scared. And at one point I just said fuck it and did it. And like the first 2 or 3 months of working, like I was paying the rent to the gym out of my savings. I had one person that I was training, which was my ex at the time, and that was it for like 2 or 3 months. Like, I wasn't making money, I was losing money. Like, I was just paying money out of my savings. But then I put myself in a position where it was literally sink or swim. I'm like, well, you have to make it work or you don't.
Well, what made you stick with it then? So for most people, and there's a really good example where things start not going right for people with the job that they're doing, and they're like throwing the towel. Well, it's not my passion, clearly, because it's not working right. Like, what's stuck?
I think it's that mindset of running towards something closer that you're desiring versus running away from something or trying to get away from something that you don't. And the running away from something that I don't was fueling me more than the desire. Like, I didn't have the desire of becoming a successful PT or making heaps of money of it because I just desired to be a PT. The thought of just laboring the rest of my life scared the fuck out of me. And that was like if I don't do this, that's where I'm going back to. And I didn't want to do that for my life. So
yeah, it's a fucking good point. And I resonate heaps with that idea of like, I think I've touched on it before, but like, I know the direction that I want to go in and like where I want to take my life, but I'm also, as fast as I'm moving towards that, I'm running away from the shit in the past that I know that I don't want to fall back into again. That's a massive driver for me. I don't think it's as much of a driver as like knowing where I want to go, but that little fucker is there as well. Yeah. It's like, it's probably 80-20. It's like there's things that I've like grown up around that I've seen that like I know that I don't want to be in that position when I get to this age or that age.
Yeah.
And I don't think I think if you have the awareness that you're using that for a positive reason, I think that can be very, very beneficial. And probably like something that I reckon a lot of people could benefit from is like having a good fucking look at yourself and going, do you want to keep doing this stuff? There's some things that are out of your control, like upbringing, family, financial situation, which I know that I'm moving towards, ideally where I want to go with that. But the party and like, that's something I don't think ever really spoken about, like getting fucked up every weekend, like doing drugs, like that side of things for me. Like, I know that going back to that would just be the worst fucking thing ever, right? So I know where I'm heading as much as where I know I'm sort of moving away from.
Yeah, even that's what I mean with people, they talk about it's like a thing of investment as well. When people are like, oh, I don't have the money to do it, or, it's too expensive, fitness is too expensive. Again, yes, circumstantial, but there's a lot of people who are saying that, who are going out on the weekend spending $300 on some goodies and drinks and everything else every single weekend. Like spending hundreds of dollars, but they go, I don't have enough money. It's like, well, the people who are choosing to spend $100 or $200 a week on their fitness, it's priority. They're choosing, it's an investment. So when it comes to that, that's not taking responsibility on what's important. And if you're spending money on those things, you're going out on the weekend, it's clearly important to you now, fair enough. But don't complain saying like, oh, I would get into exercise if it wasn't so expensive.
100%.
To me, that's irrelevant, because like what you prioritize, you'll find a way to make it happen.
100%.
Given that if you can like work to it with things like that, if it's important to you, you will find a way to make it happen. So things like that are really annoying. Even like, I remember when I first started PTing out of Willow's gym, I remember people saying, yeah, but it's so easy for you now, like, because, you know, you're a PT, you're in the gym all day. It's easy for you to train.
That's my all-time favorite one.
And you know what? Now, like, speaking about it now, yeah, it is. Like, it is really easy for me to train now. But when I started, I was at uni, then I was going to labouring all day, and then I'd take on a couple of PTs that I got in the afternoon, and then I would train at 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night because it was the only time that I could, because I chose not to get up at 3 a.m. in the morning, and I was doing uni, then I was going to work, and then I was going to work again, and then I'd train after that like 8:30 or 9. Not really optimal. Like, they were long as fuck days, and it was like really hard to train, but I did it. Like, and I had to do it then. So like, if people were saying then like, oh, it's so easy for you to train, I'm like, like it's not. No. Like, it kind of sucks because like I'm doing 12, 14 hour days and then going into that, like, it was shit. Yeah. But now I get the opportunity, like, yeah, it is pretty easy for me to train because I get a good amount of time in the middle of the day and we're running our own gym to do it. 100%. Yeah, it is easier for me to train, but there was years before that built up to being able to do it like this. And that's because I chose to prioritize it for years and years and years.
I reckon when I first started in the space, I believe it was like same time as you.
Yeah, it'd be similar.
Putting up a photo and I was like doing the same thing at Impact. But I reckon that was probably the hardest time for training because I don't know about you, but I felt a lot of pressure coming into the space and like wanting to make sure that I'm offering something different. But for me, part of that was like always looking the part as well. And like you do these massive days, like I was just doing like free PTs and like even like $20 PTs at the start, like trying to get as many as you could in throughout the day just to get the ball rolling. But then you're right, you're training at the time that you only have free, which might be like 8, 9 p.m. or whatever. But then I always felt that pressure of like, almost like needing to double down on my training because I was like, you need to look the part for this as well. Like there was a weird sort of pressure that I probably put on myself with that.
Bro, tell me about, look at me, a fucking 5 foot short.
You can't grow over.
5 foot short, 70 something kilos ringing wet. Like,
yeah, the most vascular.
I look like I could walk into the gym or I could walk into a math comp at any moment and you would have no idea.
Or Love Island even.
Or Love Island now. Yeah, I can run my chances. Yeah, I get that as well, man. But it's interesting when you dive into that about focusing on looks, because a lot of people get into the industry then too because they look a certain way. So then therefore they start coaching because of the way they look, not getting into coaching because of what they know and what they want to achieve, so to speak. So, which is kind of cool when you come from personal experience, when you come from that background of not being the tallest and biggest person in the gym, but like you have to double down on your knowledge and understanding and empathy of why people are actually coming to you, which ultimately means a lot more than just getting someone to put on muscle and looking the part, because long term that doesn't last forever.
Yeah.
But in terms of knowing what you're talking about, your knowledge, understanding human nature and how people feel and what people want, that's a big part of personal training and running a gym, which we've found out now.
Yeah.
So,
and definitely one of our biggest strengths, like in what we offer for sure.
100%.
Yeah. I was lucky with that. Like with Lane, you know, he coached me for years, but he is now in psychology. So like he always had that side of things like that, you know, like just even awareness of like how you're feeling and like being conscious of that side of things. It definitely wasn't smooth sailing. Like he was fucking fantastic, but I always had my own sort of internal battles going on. And when like all of your training centered around like muscle building and you're just essentially trying to look as fucking good as you can, or what you perceive as looking heaps good, which is not very healthy. Yeah, it can mess with you a little bit.
Yeah, I'm massive on practice what you preach. Like I think you definitely, I'm a big believer in that, like leading by example and still being in good shape. But it did put a good perspective in my head, like accepting the reality that I'm not going to look like a lot of individuals who are in the space, but you need to find a way to use that to your strength, as opposed to what it has allowed me to do is essentially bridge this gap of what people have perceived fitness to look like versus like what it actually can be. Like when people look at me, they're not like, holy fuck, like you're this big bodybuilder or like looking person that you can tell straight away they've been in the gym. I wear like a large shirt and pants. You wouldn't even be able to tell that I train half the time. But like, I'm at the point now where that actually gives me confidence, and I like that, because then when I'm talking to people about getting into fitness and training, I'm like, you don't have to look like that. That's not what fitness is all about.
100%.
There's so many ways in terms of training and what to look like. And it doesn't even have to be about looking a certain way, but you know, you don't have to focus on, oh, I can't even get into the gym because there's no way I'm going to look like that.
Yeah.
And it's breaking that down, because we have such a problem of people, like we've talked about it multiple times. There was such a problem of people just not training or not looking after their health in general. But then the fitness industry is so built off this look, off this image that seems so far out of reach and not even achievable for some people, that they don't even try.
Well, because for most people, like, it's not achievable. Like the actual
100%, it's not.
Like, and I'm saying for me, for you, like trying to look like C-Bum or trying to look like these guys.
No, it's not going to happen.
From a genetic standpoint, like, it's just not going to happen. And then like the sort of like still tabooness around like the steroid use and that side of things. Like even the online trainers that kill it, like they're 100% using, they're just jacked out of their fucking mind, or they've got more of that sort of lifestyle look, but like they're still using those enhancements. And like, that's what people are sort of basing their, I guess, their expectation off. Like,
100%.
That's what I'm aiming for. And it's like, genetically, it's not going to happen. Like, and you're not going to change that for one.
That's what I love. We can still go out on the weekend, man, and have a beer and chill out. But we go in the gym, and when people see us training, we're still having a crack. We're still moving weights, and we're still in decent enough shape, and we're happy with ourselves. But we're not walking around to these extremes, and that's our choice. Respect to people who do decide to do that. Fantastic. That's the way people like living. But I like breaking down that mold of what is perceived as fitness and what is perceived as healthy versus like what we're actually doing. It's like, I feel pretty healthy. Like I feel good. I feel my quality of life is fantastic. I love the people that I'm around. I love when I train. I feel good when I train, feel strong. And then the ability to help people do that as well, as opposed to these extremes, which a few of the percent of people love doing. Fantastic. Go for your life. But there's a large majority of people who don't want that. They just want a better quality of life, and they just want to feel fitter, feel stronger, feel a little bit better in the way they look. It's so achievable, but we just need to break down that mold of what that looks like.
100%, man. And I think leading from the front's important with it. Like, I know I can speak from example, like how I feel now is a lot better with this sort of well-rounded approach to my, it's not just my training, like it's my health, it's my quality of life as a whole. Like, I know I don't look as good as what I did when I was maybe 3 years ago, just doing like bodybuilding focus training, but here, and how I'm feeling and how I'm showing up day to day, like 10 times better.
100%. And you look gorgeous too. So
Thanks, mate.
it's better. Hey,
It's that.
you
Might
might
be going for time, Cooney.
That's us. Hey, we're probably getting up there. Fitty. Oh my God. We can chat some shit.
We're getting charged over time here.
Fucking hell. Chat that much shit on a weekday, not even like a Friday night, late, 2 a.m.
All right. Rapid fire to finish.
All right, go on.
Is there anything else you want to touch on?
Nah, mate. Hit me up.
I had it. I'm done a silly.
What doing? You up?
By the crowd. Keep him going for a sec there, Jay.
Hey.
I've got it, don't I? All right.
Fire react.
We're going to keep these short because we're at 50 minutes. So
Keep them like me, mate.
Yep. What's the game plan for the HQ over the next year? Good question.
The next year.
It's been asked on the HQ socials.
I think we're at a really, really good place where we are at the moment. Our main focus at the moment is continuing to build our community. We've had members keep joining up slowly that is somewhat trickling in. I think we're just taking on a one membership basis at the moment to make sure it's all running. I think our main focus is just to continue building our community the way it is. Continue that, because I think people can get lost on the journey and start to transition away from that. I think we really want to double down on that and see where we are in a year's time and just keep on keeping on what we're doing. I don't want to get too focused in the thought of like more for the sake of more. I think we need to double down on what we're doing well and just keep providing that, because then like the biggest thing above all with that from a business standpoint is retention. And we want to keep all the people who are in our gym at the moment because they're fantastic.
Agreed. That literally fucking probably everything I was going to say. Like the one thing that I definitely don't want to slip into, and I know we're not going to, is ever having our members feel like they're just another number that's coming in, you know. And I think with our sort of personal touch in regards to our model with, you know, looking after their programming and having that more one-on-one attention and this sort of intimate community, you know, I love that. And I know that that's working well at the moment. So yeah, I agree, man. I think there'll come a point, personally, I think probably the next like 3 months, where we'll probably have to just put a waiting list up for our membership
definitely
base, which is awesome. Like that's great. That's, you know, where we wanted to get it to. But we're just making sure that the quality of the experience for the people that are there now is upheld.
Yep. change I think is inevitable in the world, but at the moment, I don't think we need to change too much. Everything that's working, so we can ride this wave as long as we can.
I like it. Do you see yourself opening another facility?
Oh, that's a big one. Big one.
Now they're on top of all of our
Yeah.
expenses.
Let's just go for it. My answer to this is yes, but it's attached to a few caveats with it and a few contracts in my mind, mental contracts. I would be open to doing that if we can ensure that the service that we provide now is exactly the same and the community that we have is exactly the same. Because the hard thing is when you start building and expanding and you start getting more numbers, it's very easy for the quality to start dropping because it's a game of quality versus quantity. So I think we're nailing quality really, really well at the moment. Obviously, we have a capacity in our own facility now, and we are going to uphold that because that was one of our big things that we wanted. But I'd say yes, if we get to a point where we can expand our team and provide a service very similar to what we're providing now, which would have to come from obviously having more people in our team with the similar vision, similar goals, similar mindset. But yeah, that's a big maybe.
All right. I was just about to have a sip as you were wrapping that up. Bad timing.
Well, you can have a sip. Take your time.
Yeah, agreed. I know we've spoken about this and
All the time.
A little bit of like a differing standpoint on it. But I've since actually like really thought on that and what our point of difference is now and ensuring that if we did something, you know, like open another facility, that was upheld because like it's the thing that works.
Yep.
The fact that we are different with the programming and this like more intimate experience for people that are coming in. So yeah, fuck yeah. Like, you know me, like if opportunities present themselves, like we spoke about before, I'm the first person to, you know, like really have a crack with it. So I don't know if it presents itself how we want it to and it works how we want it to, then yeah. The hardest thing is like taking what's working so well at the moment is like our model, but also this like aura and atmosphere of the people that are there. So to open another facility, you obviously start from zero for that facility specifically. So how we would make that work and making sure that feel is there, which is hard to replicate because it's the people that do the feel. So.
Exactly. And we want to be directly involved in all of it too, but then there's obviously a ratio of how that works. Like I'd love to serve 100 people instead of 50 people, but the ratio of how many people I can serve to that is just, it's too big. So you need to expand your team, but then you need to ensure that the team is on the same page and provides that same feel, that same environment, that same connection, everything that we're trying to provide with our space, which comes from us and then it comes from the community too. So it's a tough one, man. It's not as easy as just opening it, like in the sense of just opening it for the sake of it. Like
put equipment in there and then like
we're very specific in terms of what we want. So
yeah, I agree. Oh, the last one. Would you rather be attacked by 50 little ducks or one human-sized duck?
Oh shit, ducks are scary, bro.
They seem so sweet, and when they get flapping,
50 little ducks or one big duck. How big's the duck?
Like does it one human-sized duck?
Fuck, that's pretty like my size or your size? Because if it's my size, I might take on the one duck, but if it's your size, I'll think about it.
We'll go average size. So for a male, probably 5'10". You're under that, aren't you?
So I have to choose which one I'd take on.
Yeah.
I'd go the one duck. I'd put fist up and punch on.
You do Muay Thai though, so you'd be right.
Yeah, but I've been slack with it. I'd put head down, fist up, and I'd have a punch on with that. 50 little ducks, man, they're coming from everywhere. There's too many beaks happening.
Fucking all happening. Geez.
Beaks?
Beaks.
No.
Yeah, beaks.
Is it beaks?
Have beaks.
Sure.
I think so. Goonie, phone a friend. Beaks.
They got beaks? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, hectic.
What about you?
Give me 50 of the little fuckers. Let me take.
Oh, you're gonna take 50 little like they're normal sized ducks,
normal sized ducks, and they
50 normal sized ducks,
and
bro. They move. Yeah, they come in pack, man. They look out for their boys too. You got one.
I do.
You cop him in the chin, bro, and he just a little bitch.
No.
He out. You like knock one of them boys, man. They see them boys going down.
But I feel like
they're turning up.
I feel like I've run away, but then they can just fly and get you. So
there's 50 of them.
I've made a big mistake.
That's right. You take that, but I'll take on the one. You're gone.
Likely this is never going to happen. So
Now we're never going to be opening another gym because there's only me left.
you can do it by yourself.
Yeah,
You got it. You got the capacity.
After all the trauma from the dark.
Do it with the dark. Fuck him.
Yeah, we'll make a pack after it. Yeah. If you can cop a hit, you might be all right. Standard.
Oh, I've been thinking this whole time and
Have ya?
I've been thinking so much about my beautiful, beautiful man in the corner.
You talking about me? Oh, no.
You're not in the corner of the ring.
I'm not in middle corner. Yeah, middle. This is true. Actually, now that you do mention that, you're right. Yeah, I've been thinking a little bit too, in between the Ducks and the gym and everything in between.
Thinking about the greatest podcast production on the Central Coast, probably New South Wales. Actually, fuck it, Australia-wide.
It's getting close to national level, yeah.
And look, most of our listeners are from the Central Coast, which means, like, if you want access to the greatest podcast production company in Australia, which has now had a rebrand, Think Loud, which looks fucking so schmeck, and I'm that excited about it, make sure you message who?
Andrew Cooney, the man himself, the most beautiful man. I'd say top 10 even.
Top 10. But yeah, be sure to reach out. Instagram, Think Loud. You can see the new design that G'day Frank teamed up with him and did.
Hell yeah.
Actually, it's like my second cousin.
Really?
Yeah. That's another one. I'm just plugging that. If you want some fucking branding work done, let's go. G'day Frank. He's the man.
And if people do decide to go to Think Loud and they do stumble upon our podcast, they stumble upon our videos, and they like seeing what the Hybrid HQ is all about, where can they find us, Brigger?
Well, we're located at Unit 20, 94, the entrance road, Erina.
2250.
Behind the BP servo. Instagram, Hybrid HQ. Facebook, we don't use, but it's just linked to Instagram, so just go to Instagram.
Yep.
Or website, www.thehybridhq.com.au.
Amazing, mate. Fantastic. Rolled off the tongue nicely.
I think we've chewed up enough. Bloody Cooney's time.
Send them out for us, Brigger.
See ya.